Lernen wir vielleicht endlich mehr, warum Anelace. Lernen wir bitte mehr darüber, warum Anelace One Blade, was? One Blade, Eight Leaf Schule drauf hat. Das würde mich irgendwie interessieren. Weil Kaffei oder Wien hat nie ein Wort über sie verloren. Zumindest kann ich an kein Sender, vielleicht wurde sie mal erwähnt. Aber ich habe es halt nie realisiert, weil ich die halt nicht kannte. Kann natürlich auch sein. I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Da, 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 da. Interesting. Wow, that's a surprise. Anyways. Oh, Lugan. Is something the matter? It's not like you to walk right up to the second floor without even looking at the board and sit quietly like this. You're not feeling sick from eating too much ice cream or something, are you? Don't be silly, I'm not a kid anymore, you know. Could have fooled me. I swear that you were the one who ate 3 full scoops first thing one morning and later to go get some stomach medicine from Spence. And maybe my memory's playing tricks on me? Let's not pretend that ever happened, okay? Besides, that was back when I was a junior boy, so that was forever ago. I learned my lesson after that, I swear. Now I never have more than 1 scoop each morning. You're not supposed to have ice cream in the morning at all, you know? Well, no matter. So, what have you been doing up here all this time anyway? Oh, right. Well, you see, I've got a letter from my puppy who lives a long way away this morning. Oh, wir lernen anscheinend wirklich ein bisschen mehr darüber. Really now? He's a swordsman, if I recall, isn't he? Yep, he's an instructor. He's really famous among sword practitioners, actually. Bitte was? Junkaf heißt ihr Vater? Was? Ist Kaffei nicht irgendwie fast 70 und sie ist 20? Was? He's really famous among sword practitioners actually. Yun Kaffei of the 8 Leaf One Blade School. Ah yeah, that's one. Not familiar with the name even before meeting you, but I was quite surprised to find out you were his granddaughter. Warum hat ihr ein Papi gesagt? Na gut, okay. Granddaughter schon besser. Didn't he used to live here in Liberal? I'm surprised to know about that. I can't say I have any memories of when he was here, though. It was around when I was born, so how could I? That long ago? I see. So, how's he doing, well? Judging by his letter? Yeah, he's doing fine. I haven't had the chance to meet him in person for about a year now. Last time we had the chance to spar, I felt like he was totally babying me, even though he's like 70. You really must be skilled to be treating an active bracer that way. What with the sudden serious face? Well, nothing of it major, but I've been wondering something for a while. Why do you stay here when you could join him? Sorry, I'm lost. Well, it's just that you were aiming to improve your swordsmanship, aren't you? It feels like if you have a grandfather like that, the fastest way to do that would be to go with him and polish his skills at his side. That's, well, I suppose not my place to be telling you what may or may not be best for you. Sorry, Anelace, you needn't pay any attention to an old man like me. No, that's not true at all. I really appreciate your advice, so please don't think it's not your place to give it. I can definitely see where you're coming from on this. I do have my reason for being here and all, but it's just a little difficult to explain. Ich glaube, einer der Gründe, warum sie nicht mit ist einfach Jun Kaffei, der würde sie, glaube ich, nicht mitnehmen. Der ist ja... Müsste er gerade... Ne, müsste mittlerweile auch schon wieder aus Elbonia raus sein, oder? Ich weiß halt nicht, wann das genau spielt. Die ist auf jeden Fall schon Senior, das heißt, das muss irgendwann um den Zeitraum vom ersten Teil spielen wahrscheinlich. Oder vielleicht nach dem zweiten. weil dann sind wir, sagen wir mal, wir sind im 1202 oder 1203, das heißt, wir sind 1 oder 2 Jahre vor Cold Steel ein und da war Kafei schon weg. Das heißt, das müsste jetzt gerade ganz weit im Osten des Kontinents sein. Und da hat der Green mal geschrieben, was da vor sich geht. Und ich glaube, da würde er nicht unbedingt seine Enkel mitnehmen. Oh? I do want to learn more about swordsmanship and swordsmen in general. So, in that sense, you're right that continuing to train on a puppy would be both the best and fastest course of action. But that's not all I want to do with my life. I want at least as much, if not more, to know more about what it means to be a bracer. I guess it's a case of wanting to learn more about swordsmanship as a bracer rather than as a swordsman, if that makes sense. Am I even doing a good job of explaining this? No, I think I see where you're coming from now, actually. Besides, Papi once told me that he taught me all of the technical sides of swordsmanship, forms, craft, and that kind of stuff already. Whether I can master them or not is all down to me now. So in that sense, I feel like there's no specific need for me to train on it nowadays. Of course, whether I'm really advancing in my swordsmanship now is another issue entirely. I wish I could say for sure I was, but... Also ich würde mal behaupten, die ist dann wahrscheinlich, so wie Wien am Anfang von Cold Steel, im Beginner-Level noch. Oder ist sie schon Intermediate? Sie ist auch hier keine Divine Blade, das ist klar. Ich würde mal sagen, die ist wahrscheinlich Beginner-Level oder vielleicht sogar schon Intermediate. Vielleicht kratzt sie, ich würde jetzt sagen Beginner-Level, aber sie kratzt so am Intermediate-Level. I see. What would all the silent treatment all of a sudden? Oh, it's nothing. You're just not really one for these kinds of serious discussions, so I was impressed to see you were even capable of them. Hey, I am so capable. Besides, you were the one who kind of pushed me to talking about all this stuff first. I'm glad I did too. Anyway, getting back to the point, what did the letter even say anyway? Oh, right. Well, as surprising as it is, it says that I should go and see Cassius Bride. Cassius? The one and only? Yep, that's right. Supposedly Papi was invited by the Royal Army to be a guest instructor at some point a long time ago. That's when he trained Cassius too. So ever since, they've had this kind of student-master relationship with one another. Cassius even went out of his way to go and see him 10 years ago when he decided to stop using a sword too. 10 years ago? That would put that around when he left the army and became Bracerman. What exactly prompted him to tell you to go to visit Cassius now, though? Well, I guess he only just recently found out that Cassius had returned to the army. Okay, das heißt, wir sind entweder zwischen Teil 1 und 2 oder nach Teil 2. Oder während Teil 2. Irgendwo um Teil 2 rum. So now he's wondering whether he might take the opportunity to take up the sword again. I gotcha. He wants you to go and ask for him. And let him know what he says, yeah. I see. People really do end up connected in the strangest places in the funniest ways. Da sagst du was. Also, ne, wir haben jetzt Anelace, die Enkelin von Kafei. Kafei hat Cassius trainiert. Cassius hat Richard trainiert. Wir haben Kafei, der auch noch Wien und Arios trainiert hat. Cassius war dabei, hat Wien getroffen, also tell me about it. Anyway, that being said, aber da muss auch irgendwas relevant doch noch auch mit ihren Eltern, also komm, als ob ihr Vater oder ihre Mutter nicht irgendwie, also je nachdem wer dann entsprechend das Kind von Kafei ist, die Person wird doch auch irgendwas drauf haben, also der wird doch nicht irgendwie seinem Kind nichts beigebracht haben, der wird doch wohl Anelace nicht einfach nur beigebracht haben, aber sein Kind nicht. Also, da nochmal Potenzial für einen weiteren Badass und ein weiteres Divine Blade. I kind of have a favor to ask. You want time off, I assume? Well, who am I to say no? You've got good cause to have it. I can even get in touch with the army and set up a meeting with Cassius if you want. Really? Really? Go along and get that truth your grandfather wants for him. But in return, I want you to take care of every single one of the month extermination requests on the board first. every single one? Aren't there like 5 of them right now? Sure, but for months in this area it will be no trouble at all for you as you are now. Maybe less of a problem if Grant were around, but I had to lend him to the guild over in one and she's still not back. You're gonna have to pick up the slack here in this place, especially if you want time off. Okay. Ich muss jetzt aber die Kämpfe nicht machen, oder? Muss ich die Kämpfe machen? 3 days later, nee. Weil die Musik hat immer so ein bisschen was von Shinra Tower oder Yunon Parade in Final Fantasy VII. Mehr Yunon und Yunon Parade. I'm finally here. Right on time too. Okay, let's go back, Cassius. Also ich muss die Anelace-Geschichte finde ich jetzt schon eine der interessantesten, allein halt dadurch, dass es um Kaffee geht. Can I help you? Well, I'm Anelace Athlete, Bracer with the Guild. I've come to meet with Brigadier General Bright. I see, I believe we've been expecting you. I press on that you have arrived then. You might have to wait a little while before you can meet with General Zoe, I'm afraid. But I'm right on time. Did something throw his schedule off? Something must have. I can't pretend to know much more than you do. But the General is a very busy man, so it's not at all unusual for things like this to happen. Anyway, like I said, I'll pass on that you have arrived, but I'm going to have to ask you to wait out here for a while. Sure, no problem. Come on, ihr hättet wenigstens die reinholen können. Also, ihr habt doch da bestimmt irgendwo eine kleine Cafeteria oder so. This is taking ages. I hope the meeting isn't going to end up getting cancelled or something. I really don't want to have come all this way for nothing. I suppose if I can't meet with Cassius, I could at least go shopping in Granzel. They should probably be getting the new lineup of stuffed toys right now. I wonder which one I should get. Maybe a beer or a crocodile once in a while, it would be nice. Excuse me, young lady. The General can meet with you now. Really? Good day, sir. Thank you. And you want the Anelace, I assume? Yes, I am. Welcome to Letzten Fortress. The General is waiting. Please follow me. Oh, thank goodness. I seriously thought I was going to have to go home without getting to see him. I'm terribly sorry for the wait. Well, please follow me. You got it, sir? I have brought your visitor, sir. Very good. You may return to your duties. Thank you, sir. Ja, das ist gut. Wenn ihr einen Cassius als deinen Chef hast, dann brauchst du halt nie irgendwie Angst haben, dass einer der Gäste wirklich Schaden annehmen kann. I'm really sorry about the delay there, Anelace. Oh, don't be. I'm more thankful you took the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me at all. It's the least I could do for someone from my old line of work. It's been a while since we last met, so hasn't it? You've become a seasoned veteran before I knew it. I'd certainly like to think I have. I can't have Estelle sore ahead of me while she's abroad, can I? This is just what I would do. So they do. I'll be looking forward to seeing just how much stronger the two of you can become. You won't be disappointed. Getting to a point, I was pleased to hear that old Master Kafai is still in good health. I believe it was because of him that you came here today. Yes, that's right. I didn't realize you were an acquaintance of his before this. I certainly am. In short, he's the man who taught me the way of the sword. That was over 20 years ago by this point. First time we met was when I was back at the military academy, so I studied it under him. Haha, I still remember the harsh training session he gave here at lesten like they were yesterday. Das müsste dann wahrscheinlich sogar die Zeit sein, wo Anelace geboren ist, ne? Really? Is there any special reason you didn't say you knew him before? You knew I was his granddaughter, didn't you? I did. By the time I first met you, I had long given up the path of the sword. It didn't feel appropriate in my eyes to act as if I was the student in light of that. Oh, gotcha. I haven't seen in about 10 years, I think. He does write to me on occasion, but how is he these days? Does he still have that same old vim and vigor? Yep, he really doesn't act his age at all. So, if you let me get right to the point, the reason I came here is to continue the discussion he had with you 10 years ago. Oh. To tell you the truth, Papi still laments the fact that you left the path of the sword. That was why he wrote to me when he heard you'd return to the army. He wondered whether you returned to the military may mean you're also ready to pick up a sword again. So, this is it. He'd like to know, directly from you, how you feel. I see. Well, it's a great honor that after so many years he still cares so much about an inexperienced and utterly lacking swordsman like me. And yet I'm afraid my answer is that I still have no intention of taking up a blade again. Can I ask you why? You certainly can, but I'm not sure how to put my answer. This has always been on my mind too. I've always wondered what would prompt someone so skilled with a sword that they even gained the title Divine Blade to leave it all behind. And I don't mean to make light of your skill with your staff or say it's inferior, nothing like that. It's just hard to wrap my head around why you did what you did, and there's a little part of me that can't accept it either. Especially now that you've returned to the army, why can't you return to being a swordsman? Unless you believe that the staff is stronger than the sword after all? No, not at all. I just believe the staff to be a more fitting weapon for me as I am now. Staves are a symbol of protection, which are used more for keeping enemies at bay than cleaving through them. You say that if all swords are good for is cutting and killing. That's not true. I fight because I want to protect things just like you do. As a swordsman, as a bracer, and as myself. You tell me the swordsmanship Papi taught me isn't going to let me do that? Na, wenn es irgendeine Schwertkund macht, dann wohl die Kapai teacht. Beibringen, so. I'm sorry, I didn't ask for you to take time out of your day so I could come and shout at you. But I can't accept what you're saying. Up until all of what happened here in Liberal, I never felt any doubt that swordsmanship was the right path for me. In the end, all of what happened just served to remind me how powerless I really am. Now I feel like no matter how hard I try, I'll always be a rookie. I'll never be strong enough to do what I want to. Now I see. Perhaps this is fate. I see Master Kafai hasn't changed one bit. He's the same firecracker he always was. What do you mean? I'm afraid as I am now, I'm not able to answer the questions you're asking me. But I know someone else who can. Theoretisch Wien, aber an dem Punkt ist er hier noch nicht. What's he plan to do out here? I really want to know who he called too. Ah, there you are. Are you all ready to begin? Indeed I am. I never expect to have to wear this uniform again though, especially not so soon. I'd almost think you enjoyed messing with people, Richard. I'm not doing it to bully you. You know as well as I do, your usual work clothes aren't well suited for this kind of thing. You're Colonel Richard. I realize this may sound a little silly coming from a man wearing this uniform, but I'm no longer a colonel, young lady. Sorry. So, Mr. Richard then, or Alan? You can call me whatever you wish, so no need for the Mr. Meanwhile, I believe you're Anelace, the senior bracer of the guild? You know me. I am not the former commander of the television division for nothing. I know about all the bracers in this country. I see. But how did you end up being here? Actually, Witchers was who I was meeting just before I spoke with you. Really? In short, I have decided to start up a new research company as a civilian. So while I may not be part of the army anymore, I can definitely see myself continuing to need to work with it in the future. So I decided to come here in order to discuss the matter with Cassius in the hopes of maintaining a good relationship between us in the future. Oh, I get it now. Wait. It's the person you mentioned earlier. That's right. I want the two of you to fight one another. Wait a second, this is all a bit sudden, isn't it? Especially if I'm going to be fighting the famous Colonel Richard. Is that so? You don't want to know the answer to the questions you asked me earlier, huh? I believe any doubts you have towards swordsmanship can only be dispelled through using it. Focus not on whether you win or lose, but on pouring all you have into the battle, and you should find the answers you seek. Alright then. I'm not sure I make much of an opponent, but I do what I can. Not every day one has the chance to test their skills against a relative of the elite school's founder. I'm eager to see what you can do. Begin. Right. Den Kampf müssen wir machen, okay. Wie viel Leben? 14.000. Ich glaube, wir fangen einfach an mit dem Paddle Dance. Das bleibt mal ein ganz guter Start. Okay, vielleicht war es doch keine gute Idee. Die Verteidigung ist schon zu senken, damit. Ja, das hat durchaus weh. Wunder. Damit, ich wollte erstmal normal angreifen, aber egal. Dann Two Piercing Wave. Das ist so ein bisschen, wie gesagt, wie die Feldattacke von Wien in Teil 3 und 4. Die aufgeladene mit R2. Fuck, das ist schnell. Was ist das eigentlich? Lost Möbis ist die Attacke, das ist eine Attacke, das ist auch eine Attacke, okay. Das ist vor Vacuum Blade. Wenn dann Fallen Leaves. Die Standardkarte macht 200. Geil. Nochmal Fallen Leaves. Geil, 200 Schaden. Nice. Das hilft richtig gut. Normaler Angriff. Paddle Dance. Ohne den macht halt gar keinen Schaden, wirklich, ne? Ne, einmal und dann kann ich vorne dies einsetzen in der nächsten Runde. Das sollte euch jetzt richtig schön Schaden machen. Geht. Aber dafür halt, ne? Das Ding, AT Delay. Ich liebe es halt, ich liebe diese 1 gegen 1 Kämpfe in Trails. Auch einfach, weil man so ein bisschen dann spätestens nach dem Kampf eine Standortbestimmung hat für den Charakter. Wie stark ist der Charakter wirklich? Also dann auch in Lore quasi. Fallen Leaf. Nice. Der Kampf war nicht so schwer. Gab schon schwerere. Holy crap, I did it. Well, it looks like my skills still have a lot of room for improvements. Alright, the victor's decided. Sheath your blades. So, Anelace, how did his swordsmanship appear to you? Well, he fights using the elite school's 5th form, Morning Moon. He's made a few changes to the standard form, but it's largely a style based on sword drawing technique. Well, okay, I noticed a bit more than just technical details like that. What did you notice? One thing I realized while fighting him, Richard swings his sword as if perfectly synchronized to my breathing. The second I go on the offensive, he reacts without fail. In that sense, it feels like his swordsmanship is much more defensive than offensive, I suppose. That defensive stance matches perfectly with the form used in combat, and the result is very natural, very powerful swordsmanship. Das erklärt auch, warum Morning Moon bei Reen eine Kontertechnik war für sein Divine Knight. Oh. What I can't work out is why you still focus on fighting defensively to begin with. I mean, I assume because you want to protect something, but what? Anelace? Yes? I wield sword for but one single reason. That reason is to protect this country. Oh. Everyone has at least something that they wish to protect in this world. Perhaps that is a person such as their family or loved one. Perhaps it is a belief or ideology that they hold dear. And just as the things we seek to protect are different, so too are the ways we chose to do it. In my case, the way I choose to protect what I care about just happens to perfectly suit the defensive swordsmanship you noticed. Also, I can only imagine how comical it must sound to hear a criminal who threatens this nation talk about wanting to protect it. Well, not really. Richard, you... Please don't say anything, General. Her Majesty may have chosen to pardon me for what I did, but that doesn't make those crimes simply disappear. Still, just as your desire to protect the girl remained even after leaving the army, I can't completely turn my back on mine. It was so that I could do so that I resolved to leave the army even. It was. You see, Anelace, to me, one's position in life is just a means to an end, a way in which to achieve whatever you wish to do. I think that's true for one's choice of weapon as well, wouldn't you agree? Well, what's important isn't what weapon you choose, but what you use it to do, what inspires you to take it up and use it to fight. The reason I chose to put my sword aside and take up a staff is those feelings had changed, that is all. So Anelace, any more thoughts? I should just use my sword in the way that best fits me to do what I want. That's what you're trying to say, right? Sure is, you beat me to it. You must sacrifice granddaughter, alright? Very quick to catch on to things. I'm just as quick at forgetting things too, though. But I finally get where you're coming from. Really? Haha, I'm happy to hear that. Could I ask you to pass my answer on to Master Kevin? Consider it done. I'm sure he'll understand. Then again, would you be opposed to it, Richard? Haha, not at all. I've already inherited the way of the sword itself from you. It's only right that someone else should inherit that. What are you talking about? Well, that's settled. Would you accept this, Anelace? Oh. What's this? It's a blade I once used myself. I think it would be much happier in the hands of an active practitioner of swordsmanship than in my own at this point. Wait a second. I couldn't possibly accept this. Surely if anyone should be taking this off you, it should be Richard. Perhaps on the surface, but how things are on the surface is not what is always most important. I thought you had just learned that fact. I'm not sure the lessons I learned earlier have anything to do with this. There's no need to think so seriously about this, Anelace. All you need to do is take up this blade and use it to do what you want to do in the way you chose to do it. That's all anyone expects of you. To do what I want to do in the way I choose to do it. Well, if you insist, I'd be happy to accept it. I feel I've learned a lot today from having the opportunity to face off against you. I do hope I'll have the chance again one day. So do I. Haha, you both have to make sure you don't neglect your training then. Of course, I wouldn't dream of giving it any less than 100%. Deswegen hatte Cassius in Code 4 das Schwert von Richard leihen müssen, in einer Szene. Really, it sounds like that was quite a fruitful experience. It sure was. I'm guessing that this was Papi's plan all along. He knew exactly what would happen. I went to ask Cassius what I did, and that's why he asked. I must have sounded a little unsure of myself in the last letter I wrote him. I see, like master, like pupil. Incidentally, while I hate to bring this on you before you even had a chance to settle back in. A lot of work built up while you were away. There's even a request from Mayor too, so I really need you to get right on it. All act. Anything you should be grateful. All this work will give you a chance to refine your skills with that new mindset of yours, won't it? That's one way of looking at it, sure. So, Papi, while I bet you knew all along, it looks like Cassius has no intentions of taking up the way of the sword ever again. But thanks to seeing him, I ended up being given a chance to re-examine my own sportsmanship. Up until now, I thought it was all about getting stronger or faster, things like that. But now I have finally realized that what's far more important than either of those things is why you take up your sword in the first place. Your feelings. I feel like now I finally understand why I was never able to defeat you, no matter how many times we fought. I might not be the best student in the world, but I'll keep giving my training all I've got. Love, Anelace. Side door sportsmanship finished.